A'ja Wilson, the WNBA MVP, a powerhouse on the court, and a name synonymous with dominance in women's basketball. But is her reign slipping away? The rumors are out. Caitlyn Clark, the rising star with one of the most electrifying careers in college basketball, is reportedly eyeing a major move to Europe. If true, this could completely reshape the WNBA and leave A'ja Wilson's legacy in the dust. But why is Caitlyn making this move? And what does this mean for the future of women's basketball, both in the US and abroad? Stay with me until the end, because by the time you hear the full story, you'll be questioning everything you thought you knew about the WNBA, its future, and the rivalries that are about to explode. Welcome to Crazy Basketball. If you're all about the drama, the rivalries, and the hottest takes in basketball, make sure to smash that subscribe button and join the community. Let's jump into the fire. Before we dive into Caitlyn Clark's meteoric rise, let's talk about the legacy of A'ja Wilson, the woman who has been the face of the WNBA for years. With MVP titles, a dominant playing style, and a global presence as a Nike ambassador, A'ja has built a career that any player would envy. She's not just the top scorer in the league, she's been a cornerstone of her team, holding it all together and leading them to victory time and time again. A'ja's greatness isn't just measured by her points per game, it's her influence, her leadership, and the sheer force of will that has made her the queen of women's basketball. So the question is, how does a player like A'ja, with all her success, handle the threat of being overshadowed by a rising star? Enter Caitlyn Clark. This isn't just another player making waves. This is a phenomenon. From the moment she set foot in college basketball, Caitlyn exploded into stardom. She's broken records, gained millions of followers on social media, and redefined what it means to be a sharpshooter in the game. Her ability to captivate both fans and the media is unmatched. But what really has the basketball world on edge? Caitlyn is reportedly considering a game-changing offer to play in Europe, with rumors suggesting a multi-million-dollar deal that could completely reshape her career. And while that might sound like a great move for Caitlyn, it has massive implications for the WNBA and A'ja Wilson herself. The tension between A'ja and Caitlyn. It's undeniable. Caitlyn's rise is fast and it's huge, but this isn't just about her popularity. This is about power. A'ja Wilson's entire career has been about solidifying herself as the face of the WNBA, representing the league in commercials, on social media, and in arenas across the globe. But now, Caitlyn is stepping into that spotlight and she's doing it quickly. And with the prospect of a European contract on the table, Caitlyn's potential departure could set off a chain reaction that completely changes the game. We're not just talking about a rival trying to take a championship. We're talking about a potential mass exodus of talent, where top players like Caitlyn Clark might leave the WNBA for bigger paychecks, better sponsorship deals, and a much larger global presence in Europe. A'ja Wilson, who has worked her whole life to be at the pinnacle of this league, is now facing the painful reality that her spot may be in jeopardy, not because of a lack of talent or hard work, but because the spotlight is now shared with someone who could be bigger globally. The question no one is asking: could this be a direct result of a systematic issue in how female athletes are treated in the US versus Europe? And what does this mean for the future of the WNBA, the European deal, the global shift? Let's break down why Caitlyn Clark's potential European contract is such a big deal. European leagues have long been offering lucrative salaries, bigger fan bases, and significantly more media coverage than many WNBA teams can provide. Some of the contracts floating around for Caitlyn in Europe could easily eclipse what she would make in the US. And it's not just about the money, it's about global exposure. The European market is hungry for women's sports, and basketball is one of the fastest growing sports across the continent. In a way, Caitlyn Clark's potential move could signal the beginning of a shift where the WNBA, no matter how great the league is, starts losing its top players to Europe. Why? Because if the best players can earn more, play in front of bigger audiences, and represent themselves on a global scale, they might not see a reason to stay in a league that can't offer the same opportunities. Imagine if this started a trend, with top WNBA players like Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu considering similar moves to Europe. The WNBA could lose its top stars, drastically affecting its competitiveness and overall reputation. Aja Wilson's frustration, the race issue at play. Now let's talk about the real emotional battle here. Aja Wilson's frustration, a black woman who has fought her entire career to be seen, heard, and respected in a sport that's often overlooked. Aja is now facing a situation where a white player, Caitlyn Clark, may eclipse her legacy, thanks in part to a shift in the market that favors European expansion over the WNBA's domestic growth. And yes, while Caitlyn's rise is impressive, we can't ignore the fact that race often plays a role in how media and fans perceive athletes. The WNBA has always been a league where black women have excelled, but how often are these athletes pushed to the forefront compared to their white counterparts? Caitlyn Clark is an undeniable talent, but the narrative of marketability often favors players who fit a certain mold, one that Caitlyn may fit more than Aja. Is the WNBA prepared to handle this shift, or will it create a divide that sees more and more of its talent gravitating overseas for better financial and media opportunities? What's at stake? A changing landscape. This rivalry isn't just a question of who's the better player. This is about the future of the WNBA. What happens when top stars start considering European contracts as a viable, even preferable option? What happens to the WNBA's marketability? What does this mean for future generations of players, especially those from marginalized communities, if the best opportunities lie overseas? And let's not forget, this is a business. The WNBA is trying to grow, but if Caitlyn's departure signals a larger trend of players opting for Europe, we could see a major collapse in the league's ability to retain talent, not to mention how it will affect its sponsorship deals and TV ratings. Final thoughts: who will be the face of the future? Aja Wilson and Caitlyn Clark are two sides of the same coin, both immensely talented, but on opposite sides of the growing tension between the WNBA and Europe's growing dominance. Aja has built a career as the face of the league, but Caitlyn's potential European deal could shift the entire power dynamic. With more players eyeing Europe for better opportunities, will the WNBA be left behind? Or will Aja Wilson's legacy withstand the storm? Only time will tell, but what we do know is that women's basketball is on the verge of a seismic shift. Who will be left standing when the dust settles? If this deep dive into the future of women's basketball shocked you, hit that like button and subscribe to Crazy Basketball for more intense insights and updates on the biggest names and stories in the game.